Welcome back, everybody, to Just the News, No Noise. We are seeing a very troubling trend on the left and the right wing in American politics right now. Young people turning away their support from Israel, including even younger Jewish Americans who, according to one survey, say that support for the state of Israel is not as important to them as it once was. So why on earth is this happening, and what are some of the things that could lead to it? Joining us now to discuss that and much more, the executive vice president of the Coalition for Jewish Values, Rabbi Yaakov Menken. Rabbi, great to see you.
Good evening. Always to be good with you. Always good to be with you.
Likewise, sir. And, you're one of those folks, you seem to see, you're very prescient. You seem to see what's ahead of the trend. And we've had a lot of conversations about things going in this directions for young Americans. But it really kind of surprised me that with young Jewish Americans, this is the case. It probably didn't surprise you.
Not as much, because sadly, this is the same Jewish American that no longer values everything that is our tradition. They replaced their Judaism with Wokism as their religion. I like to quip that the notion that all Jews are intelligent and well-informed is an anti-Semitic trope, because it's actually something that's used by anti-Semites. They trot out code ping. Oh, J Street believes what we do, therefore we must be right. It must be a valid Jewish opinion. Every Jew who has an opinion is not expressing a Jewish opinion. You want a Jewish opinion, it's not being written by anybody today. It's already found in, well, books like those.
Rabbi, I have a lot of Jewish friends, and pretty much all of them, when they were younger, they did the heritage trip to the homeland. They went back to Israel, and that was something that I know left an indelible mark on them. And I think that's extremely important to Jewish Americans as far as having that connection with their homeland. Are young Jewish Americans not doing that trip as much anymore?
Well, it really depends. If you're talking about the Orthodox community, all of our kids are going over to not go over to study in Israel after graduation from high school is almost like a point of interest in a person's biography, because most people do. And within our community, within the Orthodox community. But when you're talking about outside the Orthodox community, no, the attachment has become less and less. And when they do go, it's on some trip hosted by a left-wing organization that shows them a carefully curated scenario where you don't learn about the literally generations of Arab hate for Jews that governs Israeli policy to keep Jews safe from harm, which they then cast as somehow being unfair to Arabs. The only freedom that Arabs lack in Israel, which they do have in the rest of the Arab world, is that what they have in the rest of the Arab world is the freedom to kill Jews. In Israel, they have every other freedom. The freedom to have their own opinions, the freedom to marry whomever they want, to have a relationship with whomever they want, go whatever career they want, whatever opinion they want, and the right to vote. But it's that right to kill Jews. That's the one thing they're missing. And that's why they're yelling free Palestine.
Goodness gracious. It's interesting. I just had a conversation with someone at the CIA, and we were talking about election integrity and what the president is likely going to talk about tonight, but also socialism and communism. And you see, it's kind of a melting pot of the anti-Israel, pro-Gaza, pro-communism, pro-socialism crowd. How on earth did those people turn out to be bedfellows?
Well, the ridiculous notion that an Arab is a Palestinian was created by Yasser Arafat, the Egyptian, in 1964 with help from the KGB. So you got the KGB, the Muslim Brotherhood, other, obviously the successors to the KGB, the communists, the socialists, and the Islamists, all conspiring together. And remember, their enemy here is American and Western values, which come from the Bible. This is what they want to get rid of. So, look at the Jews as the canary in the coal mine, because look at Iraq. Yazidis in Iraq and Druze in Syria and Coptic Christians in Egypt can tell you a thing or two about what happens when you let the Islamists take over as soon as they're done with the Jews.
Yeah, it is absolutely terrifying. And it frankly happens all over the world. You would think that people here would educate themselves and figure out what was going on. Things are very strange in the Democrat Party right now. You've got John Fetterman, who is basically the barometer for the party, and he is saying that if his party does not support Israel the way that it frankly always has, historically, Democrats have always been big supporters of Israel. Some of the loudest voices and most influential voices in the Democrat Party are Jewish. But he says that if they cease to reach that level of support, he's out. What do you think is going to happen? Is he going to join Republicans?
He can't see himself joining the Republicans, but he is realizing there is a really significant problem here where you can be as good and decent a person as you wish to be, but because of a certain party label, you end up caucusing with actual Nazis. I mean, it's not an exaggeration. I mean, you look at the things, Ilhan Omar said things, she didn't recognize it, obviously, but she was practically quoting Mein Kampf. And it's not as if Rashida Tlaib, of course, is any better. And now they just elected 3 more of them in the House. And we have the same thing potentially starting to happen in the Senate. I don't know where Fetterman is going to go, but it's unfortunate that there is one party, the Republican Party has been very clear. I mean, this is why Massey has been shown the door, because his own party, led by Trump, but on down from there, saying this guy is not welcome here. MTG resigned from Congress because her opinion is not welcome here. We have to get rid of that sort of bigotry from within the party. Unfortunately, on the left side of the aisle, they have not done the same thing. And you're right, of course, the Democratic Party was staunch supporters of Israel, but that's also a Democratic was a Democratic Party that was strong supporters of American values. Look where we are now versus the bicentennial in 1976.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, so many people long for the Democrat Party of the 90s. Shoot, even the early 2000s seemed more sane and more America-loving and supportive of Israel than we have been in the last 10 years or so. Rabbi Yaakov Menken, always a pleasure having you with us, sir. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Good night.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, we're going to take a very quick break, but we've got much more coming up for you on the other side.